All right, so I welcome each one of you one more time. Today our agenda is we're going to cover accident and sickness chapter 3 in this particular video, and then we also go to chapter 4 in the next video as well. Let me give you a brief idea about this chapter, what you can expect. So this chapter, exam point of view, I would say this only has maybe 20% importance, or maybe less than that, maybe 10, 15, 20. But when it comes to the practical field work, I tell you this chapter has very much importance out there for the clients, because many of the clients, they want to look into long-term care insurance plans, and they want to have critical illness plans. So yes, exam point of view might not be that important, but as an licensed advisor and your practice point of view, very, very important chapter. It's not a lengthy chapter. It's pretty simple, pretty small. I think disability, what we have learned about disability, it's only a few things are changing, like the waiting period is changing, like the criteria is changing, but more or less things are pretty much on a repetition. So when we're going through this, you will also be recalling some of the concept in disability, and that will help you empower your disability more. And when we're going to go into the chapter number 4 later on today, this will also be empowering, will be a little bit connected. But again, it's not a difficult chapter, it's not a lengthy chapter. It's important for, again, I cannot say enough that it is a very important chapter in terms of a licensed advisor's practice. Right, so guys, so we're going to be right back into this now. Before I begin, I want to ask or take some opinion, and let's involve you guys. So let me ask Kiran. Kiran, can you unmute yourself? I'm going to give you a scenario. Give me a couple of things that comes to your mind. So Kiran, let's say somebody is working, they were healthy, and everything was going fine. But as you know, life happens, right? And suddenly there was a heart attack, first episode of heart attack to someone, and now they were reported to hospital. Now the doctors, luckily it was just a small heart attack, and there was not a major, and people were able to take the patient to hospital on time. So now the doctor has advised a rehabilitation period. Now this patient might have to be recovering, or maybe he's not able to do his regular job that he was doing before, and he needs a 6 to 8 months rest, or maybe 4 to 8 months rest. So, Kiran, if this can become a circumstance of any family all of a sudden, can you name a few things that will be under big problem? Like that could be financial problems, or whatever you can think of that can become troublesome for this person.
Okay, first of all, I think Asad, first things first, if he is the main breadwinner of his family, if he's the income earner, so then of course वो income रुक जाएगी, and that depends on where he is working. Maybe his company might be giving him a few couple of months off with a paid leave. लेकिन हर जगह ये सहूलत, not every employer offers that, right? So अगर वो कंपनी अच्छी है और उसमें वो दे रहे हैं, तो maybe they'll let him off for like उसको rest चाहिए 2-3 months and with pay with leave, right? Leave with pay, sorry. बट अगर वो ऐसी कंपनी है जो कि मतलब इट्स अ बिट स्ट्रिंजेंट या उनके इतने बेनिफिट्स नहीं है, सो व्हाट दे आर गोइंग टू डू इज कि द डे ही स्टॉप्स वर्किंग, सो उनकी सैलरी भी आना बंद हो जाएगी, राइट? तो एक तो
That's
सैलरी वहां बंद
absolutely
हो जाएगी,
right. Absolutely
राइट?
right. So,
हाँ.
let's be honest. This is a realistic world. I have never come across any company right now in Canada that can keep an employee on their payroll for 2, 3 months and keep paying them salary. Hardly companies can bother you or can bear you for 8, 10 days. After that, if you don't report to work, they are just telling you, hey, we sympathize with you. We know that this is unfortunate for your family,
We
but
have to let you
unfortunately,
go.
our work has
हाँ.
to continue, and we have to find a replacement so you can apply for EI. That is going to be their written thing, and nothing is
हम्म.
going to happen. But let me tell you, if this is a scenario, if it happens to any family, this could be my family, this could be your family, this could be anybody's family. So,
हम्म.
you know what happens to the mortgage? It
Yeah,
will be a
mortgage
complete
and
disaster.
then groceries,
Rent,
rent है.
groceries, in your that the money that we spend on our children stuff every month is gone, right?
हम्म.
And then if we're able, let's say some home renovation is pending, we want to do that, all our plans are gone because all of a sudden the money is gone. So I want to tell you
Right.
that if this happens, there are many things. So income stop, but bill stays. That is why health might cause people to start selling their assets. That is what the name of this chapter is: insurance to protect your assets. Because when people come under the burden of paying bills and they cannot go to work because of their health circumstances, now unfortunately they can only accumulate debt at certain level, but then they have to start downgrading their lifestyle. Maybe they have to skip the renovation of the house they were thinking about. Maybe they have to stop spending money on their kids karate class, all the other classes that people are putting them to. Maybe they have to stop, ask for, they have to stop into their mortgage payments, rent. So it can be a emotional burden, yes, because the person is recovering, but more than emotional, this will become a financial burden. And you know what happens, Kiran? Most of the time people try to go back to work as soon as possible. What does that mean? They will start ignoring doctor's advice. They will start ignoring their relatives' advice because they need to pay their bills, and they hesitate. They quickly go back to work, and then a second episode occurs, and then we might lose the person. This is
Yeah.
what life is all about in Canada, and that's what is happen when somebody gets sick with a critical illness or a life-threatening problem or something like that. So I hope that you are able to understand why this chapter is really important, that this is a regular scenario. We need to protect our friends and families. Who are our clients? Honestly, our clients are our friends, families, and then extended families, and then everybody else who are our people refer us to. Sounds good? So those are our clients. Now let's talk about some facts, and you need to know these facts. This is not coming into exam, but just know as for the importance that 1 out of every 2 Canadians who suffer a heart attack is younger than 65 years old. This is Canadian Health reporting these stats. 1 out of 2 people who are having heart attack is younger than 65. That means he's working at that time, right? And 95% of these people survive the first heart attack. That means they go on to rehabilitation where they cannot go to work, but bill stays. 1 out of 3 Canadians will develop cancer, and 65% of them will survive for a minimum of 5 years. So that means imagine what's going to happen in those 5 years when somebody is fighting cancer. You know how you're going to make sure that your bills are being paid, everything is getting paid. These are the stats. 1 out of 20 Canadians who suffer a stroke are younger than age 70, and 75% of those will survive. These are the chances of if you have a stroke and how many of you survive. Between 3% and 5% of critical illness claims are made by Canadians who have coronary bypass surgery. So this is also important. When you go for a heart surgery, you cannot work for a certain number of months. So this is some stat by Stats Canada, Health Canada, which is supporting that you need to tell to your families when you sit down that, hey, this is something you need to, do you have a right protection? Do you have the right education? Are you aware about these things? Are you protected from these things? If not, let me show you how you can get it done with maybe $1 or $2 every day. How about I show you that the way you can protect it while you're working and you have time on your side? That is how you bring importance and you sit down with families. But you need to know that you need to tell them the facts and then show them what you can do for them. Imagine sometime I imagine the work I have in my hand is so unbelievable that I can change many lives. And this should be the voice coming from each one of you. Only then you can call yourself an honest, integral, a great advisor if this is coming from within you. And that's what I'm working on, that you understand these things. I hope that this is a great opening for this chapter and you all understand the value behind it. Let's now go start looking into critical illness. So basically in critical illness, what you do, let's talk about coverage provided. What kind of coverage critical illness provide? So guys, if you see, it's a very flexible plan in critical illness. It goes by the budget. Let's say if some family has a very low budget, right? The bare minimum you can start protecting them from 3 illnesses. What are those 3 illnesses? Those are the most major illnesses. It covers heart attack, it covers cancer, and it covers stroke. These are the 3 illnesses. This is the basic plan. Let's say if somebody is very low on budget, at least protect them with these 3 illnesses. And so their monthly premium will be very low. Then there comes 4 illnesses. In 4 illnesses, add one more illness, which is coronary bypass surgery or heart surgery. That is the fourth illness that is added. Of course, the 4 illness plan is a little bit more expensive than the 3 illness plan. And then you go and different companies came over and they started customizing and adding more illnesses. Those are more common. So up until now, the maximum plan which is available to Canadian is covering 25 illnesses. So you can give your client a chance, they can cover bare minimum 3 illnesses, 4, 8, or 25, right? And as many illnesses as they're trying to protect, according to that will be the premium. Sounds good? So these are the basic 2 most extensive plans of critical illness available in Canada. Now, let me give you, if you want to get qualified for critical illness, your age has to be less than 65 years of age. If you have attained 65 years, you are not going to get a protection for any critical illness from any company, at least in Canada, if you're over 65. Another thing, if your health is already down, if you're already diagnosed with certain things, now it is up to company whether they approve you or not. If they approve you, they might add certain ratings and that might increase your premium. Or they keep you at standard rating, but they might put some exclusion that if something happens to you, if you're fighting a diabetes, if you get, critical illness because of this, then you won't be covered. So they put some exclusion or they increase your rate by adding you a rating. So that is important thing you need to know. The minimum coverage you can get in a critical illness plan is $10,000. That's the minimum. And the maximum you can get is $2 million worth of protection. But let's be honest, majority of the time people choose between 25,000 to somewhere between $500,000 worth of protection. That is most common. But minimum is 10,000 and maximum is $2 million, right? Amount of coverage will be dependent on age, right? We all know that in insurances, age, gender plays a major role, right? So age makes a role, gender plays a role, smoking status plays a role, any medical history, pre-existing scenario plays a role, medical history of your parents, your siblings also important, plays a role, and also financial status also plays a role. Understand this part. This most of the people don't understand. What do I mean by financial status? Let's say I'm working and I'm making $50,000 a year, right? If I want to protect myself for $200,000 worth of policy, then company might not have any problem. But let's say my income is $50,000 and I'm asking for $5 million protection. Then it is not according to my income that I'm earning. Now the insurance company might ask me a question. Hey, Asad, by the way, your income is not that high. Why do you want to protect yourself for for $5 million? Prove it to us that you really need it. So this is known as a financial status relative to the amount of insurance you're trying to purchase. All right, very, very important. So this is why financial status is also important. Now, next, I would like to talk about the qualification period. So qualification period is same thing as a waiting period that we read in disability, or we also call it elimination period. So these three things are one and the same thing. If you see in a question, elimination period, qualification period, waiting period, these are all same things. It means to say what time benefits will start coming to your bank account. So you need to know that for all critical illness plan, the waiting period is 30 days. Okay, so let's say I get diagnosed with a heart attack today on 15th of February, right? I'm into the hospital, but I survived. Now my waiting period starts from today's date, that is 15th of February until 15th of March, right? Or if February has, let's say, 2 less days, then 17th of March, I have to complete my 30-day waiting period. If I am still alive after 30 days, the benefit will be paid out to me so that I can use in a lump sum value. Lump sum, it will be paid out to me and I can use it towards that. But if something happened to me before 17th of March, then what's going to happen? All the premiums that I have paid will be transferred to the beneficiary and no face amount will be paid. Clear? So that the money we were paying as a premium will be transferred, will be paid to my spouse. Let's say if she's a beneficiary. Or if there's no beneficiary, it will be paid to my state. Okay, but let's say I survive 30 days, then the whole policy value, let's say 500,000, 50,000, 25,000, whatever, it gets transferred into my bank account right on the 31st day. Sounds good? This is known as a waiting period. Do not miss out on simple questions. It's a very easy concept. Okay, let's say, Jaya, if I ask you a question, person A got diagnosed with a stroke today, and he is not able to survive next 30 days. What's going to happen with the premiums he's been paying for last 10 years?
The premiums will go to their named beneficiary.
And let's say if they have not named any beneficiary so far.
On their policy, I would assume it would go to their estate.
Yes, so you don't have to assume, it's automatically going to the state. That's clear, simple, clear. No beneficiary, state. Beneficiary, no state. Okay, that should be clear. Okay, Saad, next question. Let's say I have a policy of $100,000. That is my whole 12-month expense, let's say $100,000, including my mortgage. So I want to at least protect my family so that if I recover for 12 months, at least I get 100,000 protection in place. Excuse me. Saad, I got a heart attack today and I survived 30 days. What's going to happen on 31st day or 32nd day?
Yeah, after 30 days, you get the 100,000 amount.
Okay, I will get it. And who will get it?
You.
My beneficiary or me?
You.
Right, because I'm alive. In these critical illness and disability, if I'm alive, I am going to receive that money. If I'm not alive, then beneficiary come into picture. That's why I was asking this question. You know how sometimes people also ask this thing. Some people try to find out the negative things from every positive thing. And they will tell you why there's a 30-day wait, heart attack, I might die, the person might die, another company does not want to pay me for 30 days, blah, blah, blah. Those negative people, they always come in with those things. That's why I want to prepare you, show them the stats. Tell them 95% of the stroke patients survive for multiple number of years. So look at the stats that with these diseases, chances of surviving is way more than chances of dying in the first instance. So 30 days, you tell me, who's the last cancer patient you met who got diagnosed today and died tomorrow? You tell me. Then you tell those people these kind of right away things. Then you tell me one cancer patient who got diagnosed yesterday and died today. They'll say, no. So then that's okay. Don't try to find out the flies in the milk. Try to work out what you can do to protect your whole scenario. Sounds good? This is a very, very basic example that people throw it to you. Why 30 days? Tell them it's very, very common. People always survive after these. People get 4 heart attacks sometimes. They always, of course, they survive from the first one, right? Okay, awesome, guys. Now, next thing I'm going to talk about is survival period. We talk about it. Duration of coverage. Okay, duration of coverage. So with duration of coverage, critical illness plan has both type of plan. You can have a term insurance. I mean, term is a temporary plan. You can pick and choose 10 years, 20 years, or whatever. Or you can have till age 65 or 75. So that I call sort of a permanent sort of plan. Yeah, there are certain critical illness plan now available with few companies like IA Financials. They also give you protection till age 100. So there are also permanent plans available, but of course, no, you have to contribute more money to them. So you can choose a term plan, 10 years, 20 years, 65 or till age 100. Your premiums will be according to the length of months or tenure you chose. Sounds good? But there's also one thing, you can convert it. Let's say if somebody has a 20-year critical illness plan, right now their budget is tight. They want to go with a 20-year plan right now, but all the medical questions were answered, all the medical examinations were done. Now they got 50,000 protection. But during next 5 years, the person's salary went up or income sources increase. Now they can convert their 20-year plan to 65 without any medical. That is the best part, because they have logged their age, but they can convert this plan to a 65 or till age 100 plan. So there's a conversion available without medical in case people's financial situation improve. Sounds good, right? But okay, yeah, I think that should be it about regarding duration of coverage and conversion. Anybody has any questions so far? Please ask me. You can raise your hand if I'm trying to be really slow. I'm trying to be really practical at the same time, what kind of question people ask. And I'm really trying to give you the best information. But if you do have some confusions, keep asking, because when you ask question, that brings the most out of me as well. Right? So it's important. Yes, Marine.
So टर्म इंश्योरेंस हम जैसे 65 पे भी कर सकते हैं या 100 के लिए भी कर सकते हैं अगर किसी को टर्म नहीं लेना हो
Yes.
then what is the option?
Can you repeat your question? मैं समझा नहीं किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, क्रिटिकल इलनेस के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बात
हाँ क्रिटिकल इलनेस के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कि जैसे टर्म इंश्योरेंस कोई नहीं लेना चाह रहा
हम्म।
ठीक है तो देन व्हाट इज द ऑप्शन?
हाँ, अगर कोई क्रिटिकल इलनेस में 10-20 साल का टर्म लेना नहीं चाह रहा, यू कैन शो देम द ऑप्शन ऑफ 65, 75 और टिल एज 100, यू कैन शो देम.
ओके
बट ऑफ कोर्स उनके प्रीमियम हाई होंगे.
ठीक है
ठीक है.
ठीक है मतलब हम टर्म जो है वो बेसिकली हमें टर्म के बाद जो है अगर टर्म खत्म हो जाता है तो फिर एवरीथिंग इज जीरो आपको कुछ ना प्रीमियम मिलता है ना कोई चीज अगर कोई डिजीज नहीं है कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है.
नो दैट इज ट्रू. विद टर्म वर्ड ही ऐसा है. टर्म का मतलब आपने आसान लफ्जों में बताऊं, आप कभी नहीं भूलोगे. टर्म का मतलब है रेंट. आप जिस बेसमेंट में या जिस घर में हम लोग रेंट करते हैं, कि कभी रेंट वापस आएगा लाइफ में? कभी भी नहीं आने वाला वापस. जो रेंट हमने पे कर दिया वो गार्बेज है. तो जब भी टर्म का वर्ड आए ना, ऑलवेज एसोसिएट द वर्ड टर्म विद रेंट. रेंट विल नेवर कम बैक टू यू. लाइकवाइज इन टर्म प्लान यू हैव नथिंग कमिंग बैक टू यू. और जो परमानेंट प्लान होता है, आई कॉल दिस ओनरशिप, होम. Whatever you put money into your home, you can sell the home, you can get the money, or you can start taking some loan against your home. Similarly, ownership plan, permanent insurance plan behave like a full home. जो लोगों के पास 1-1 मिलियन नहीं है घर लेने के लिए, एटलीस्ट अपना इस तरह का घर बना लें जिसमें से कल घर की तरह आप बेनिफिट लेना शुरू करते हैं. ये आप अपने बजट से डिजाइन कर सकते हो. Sounds good, Marine? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so now let's go. Now let's understand types of policies. Let me give you the point. If so, I already talked about that there are 3 condition policy, 4 condition policy, and 25 condition policy. One more thing is you can also get a critical illness insurance for a child as well. You know how sometimes when there's a history of parents of having some genetical disorders, like let me give, like cystic fibrosis in children, muscular dystrophy in children, type 1 diabetes, cerebral palsy. When you feel like that the families have this kind of problem with the kids, you can also insure your child for critical illness till age 18. And if the child is alive beyond 18, you can convert this plan to a permanent one as well. So this is a critical illness plan that covers 25 conditions that is coming in normal plan, but also 5 more children disease. That is a bonus onto that plan. So you can also get a critical illness plan for your children. Yes, Marine? You have a question? Okay, you have to drop your hand then. Okay, awesome. Now, next is, let's go further. Let's see. Expanded coverage means same conditions. So let's say if somebody is asking about 10 condition contract. In 10 condition, you want to make a note down. These are the 10. Let's say in your talk, if you're talking to somebody, you can talk about these things. How do you customize plan? So in 10 condition plan, blindness is covered. Cancer is covered, heart surgery is covered, deafness is covered, kidney failure is covered, MS is a big problem in Canada, multiple sclerosis, MS is covered, where people, cannot control their urine and so many other things. MS is covered. Organ transplant, how people are waiting on the list for transplant, organ transplant, that is covered. Paralysis covered. Stroke is separate, but paralysis also covered. Stroke is covered. So these are the 10 common conditions which is normally covered in 10 condition a critical illness plan. When you go into 25, then many more come in. Meningitis, bacterial meningitis, so many other things, they come in to picture as well. My question to you, if Marine, you were to advise a client and the client tells you in their family history that, hey, my family has a history of having aplastic anemia. This is in my family history. Now you're sitting with that family and they told you that in my family, I have aplastic anemia. And you know that aplastic anemia is only covered in 25 illness plan. How would you advise your client? Please, can you brief me?
Okay, so then we have to offer them although cancer is in the 10-1 too, if their budget, so we can ask them for the 10 if their budget is low. But if budget is fine, then we can go for the 25 illness.
Okay, awesome. So many question क्यों पूछा? I wanted to ask this question because this is a very practical question, right? Advisor's first responsibility is first of all to know which company is offering or covering what kind of illnesses in 25. Because insurance company, sometimes people say, hey, insurance don't pay as they promise. This is a very common slang what people use about insurance companies. But hey, let me tell you, in insurance contract, when you get issued a contract, everything is defined in that contract. It's a lengthy contract, but we never pay attention to read that contract before signing that contract. There's all definition mentioned. So make sure the company, the 25 illness plan that you are providing to somebody, you at least ask the person, hey, in your family, what is the most common illness? And let's say if company A's 25 illness list does not have that disease, company B's 25 illness have that disease, provide a plan with company B that is covering their family problem. But sometimes I see advisor don't even know which company is providing which 25. Sometimes they don't even know that, right? And they are providing wrong information outside to the client. And now something happened, the family comes to you, hey, 25 illnesses, you told me I will be covered. Now once advisor is going through the 25, he sees that illness is not even there, right? So that's your responsibility. Always try to ask them that there's any family history, and try to make sure that that history, if it is covered in any kind of with any kind of company, make sure you provide the plan with that company. Sounds good? All right. That is the answer, Marine, what I was asking. I hope everybody is on the same page and is understanding that. Now, let's now talk about riders. Riders are a very important part of insurance. Insurance is always designed as per budget. Sometimes people tell me, hey, I have listened to a radio online quotation. I can get this for $5. I can get that for $30. You know, when you come into industry, start practicing, you will start hearing these kind of things, what I'm telling you. But insurance contract is always customized like how you customize your pizza. You know, basic pizza, cheese pizza is very cheap. Similarly, there is always a basic contract. So most of the time when people listen from radio or TV stations or advertisement, that is talking about just the basic plan. But when they show up for a meeting, then the person, that smart guy, start asking them, hey, what else do you need? And now that plan is gone up to the roof. Okay, so it's always customized. So there is no quotation for any insurance plan. There's only quotation for one plan. Can anybody tell me what plan you can find out a quotation for?
Basic?
Yes, a term insurance plan where you don't get any feature. There is no money coming back. You only get the coverage. That is the only plan you can get a quotation, or you can get a quotation for a car insurance. But even in car insurance, if you try to add more things into your car insurance, the premium keeps going up. Remember, anybody dealt with car insurances so far? The more you try to add, let's say I want to have 1 million liability coverage, price is low. I want to change it to 2 million liability coverage, price is different now. So always in insurance, it's always customized to fit your pocket, to fit your budget. But the best part is you can always add on top of that. So addition is what I call riders. Sounds good, guys? Riders. Never forget what riders are. So in critical illness, two riders are very important. Number one rider is return of premium. Return of premium. I also call this a refund of premium. अभी ये सवाल बड़ा कॉमन हो सकता है कि ओके आई एम 35-year-old male, I don't have any problem. Yes, okay, I want to have a critical illness plan for myself. I want to protect my family. But let's say I'm trying to be healthy. I'm eating healthy food. I'm going to gym. I'm doing everything I can. What if nothing happens to me by the 65 when my plan expired? What's going to happen to my money? This could be an objection to you coming from any client. In that regard, you can show them a rider, which is refund of premium. That's all, not a big deal. If you're very healthy person, don't worry about it. Cover your family. And with the addition of this rider, if nothing happens to you by 65 or you cancel your plan after 20 years, you will get everything back, the premium that you have paid. So this account will behave like your savings account. But that kind of critical illness plan is always individual plan. You cannot combine it with a life insurance. The plans of critical illness that you combine with life insurance, those do not provide refund of premium rider. Where one thing, and second thing, the only plan that provide return of premium rider is minimum age 65 or 75, not less than that. You cannot have an ROP on 20-year critical illness plan or a 10-year critical. On them, you cannot have it. It's only available for 65, 75 or till age 100. Sounds good? By the way, when you add a rider, would that make your plan pricey or cheap?
Pricey.
Pricey.
I see.
But the best part is, let's say without rider, if I'm contributing $100 a month, and with rider, I'm contributing 140 a month, the amount of premium I will get back will be as per 140. So don't worry about it. It's not going to be like you're only getting back the 100. You're getting back also what you're paying for the rider. Important thing to remember, because people might ask this question. Sounds good? Okay. Next important rider on critical illness is waiver of premium. Waive means khatam ho jana, hat jana, waive off. So waiver of premium name is suggesting that I don't have to pay premium anymore. That is waiver of premium rider. So you can also opt this as a rider on your critical illness plan. And the benefit of having this rider is, let's say if somebody gets disabled and they are not diagnosed with some illness in the critical illness plan, so they are not eligible to get the benefit from the policy, but they get disabled and now they're not working. So paying premium is hard for them now. So in that regard, if they have the rider on their critical illness plan, if they get disabled, so the company will waive off the requirement of monthly critical illness plan, but your critical illness plan will be in force and will be up and running. That is known as waiver of premium rider, right? By the way, in waiver of premium rider, their definition of disability is very generous, not as hard as the definition of disability that we have read, own occupation, regular occupation. No, if you get a doctor's note, you're not able to go work for certain days, even if it's a minor disability, you provide that to a company and you have a rider, waiver of premium, they will waive it off. For how long? Unless you're not able to go back to work. Or you eventually from this disability turns into one of the illness that you are entitled to in your plan. Then they pay out the whole face amount or the policy value. Sounds good? You're clear with this concept? Waiver of premium. So that's the second rider on that. Guys, any questions so far? Please ask me. I think we're pretty going smoothly and good. Kiran, you have any question? All right. So next thing I want to talk about, what happens if, let's say, I had a 25 illness plan. I got diagnosed with one in year 2022, right? And I got paid my $50,000 in year 2022. What happens when you get a claim plan is null and void? There is no more. Do you think in 2024, I would still assume that I have my plan in place? No, that has been gone. So, but sometime what happens, people want to add a special thing which they call second event rider. Second event. So in now in the same kind of plan, let's say if it is 25 illness plan or 4 illness plan, you got diagnosed, you filed a claim against one, you got paid off money first time, but your plan will still be continuing after that. You will still be paying premiums into that. Now, after 2 years or after 2 months, let's say you get diagnosed with a second illness in the plan as well, that plan covers. So you will get some reduced benefit, not full amount of benefit, but you will get some benefit, but those are reduced from the original one. But for that, you have to have a second event rider on your plan. Sounds good? Okay. Okay. Now I will give you an example to this as well, that Sylvia successfully claimed $100,000 benefit under her critical illness plan in 2011 due to the diagnosis of a qualifying cancer. She got paid. When she subsequently had a heart attack in 2013, she was unable to make a second claim under her policy because the contract had been terminated upon the payout of 2011 cancer. So in this event, this is a normal plan. There is no rider of second event. That's why no benefit will be paid out. But Had she had a second event rider, then she might be paid a reduced benefit. Not $100,000, but maybe $50,000. Sounds good? All right. Now there are also some exclusions to pay out कि कंपनी कब डिनाई कर सकती है आपको, वो सेम ही रहते हैं मेजोरिटी ऑफ द टाइम. अगर आपकी डेथ किसी वॉर में हो गई है, इफ यू आर डाइड इन अ टेररिस्ट अटैक, you know, you've died with a, or you got sick with an attempted suicide, you are taking some drugs, you're inflicting yourself with some drugs, and now you're developing a critical illness plan and that got diagnosed. You know, all these criminal activities, non-occupational AIDS, HIV, drug abuse, if this is the cause of your critical illness, they will deny your claim. Okay, so make sure you educate your clients that we cannot go and give a critical illness plan to a drug user, because they won't approve any drug user, because drug users have a tendency to get diagnosed with these things sooner. Yes, Kiran, you have a question.
Yeah, so just one thing, could you please clear this again? The second event benefit, so you're saying that this option is not a rider, right?
This option is also a rider, but it's not a
Okay.
very common rider, but people sometimes choose it. So these are the three riders I told you.
Okay.
Refund of premium, ROP, waiver of
Mhm.
premium, WOP, and second event rider. These are critical illness
Okay.
most commonly used riders. Okay.
Okay. So in this one, we won't have the coverage for same illness again, I think, and lesser benefits will be paid second time, right?
Absolutely, Kiran, spot on.
Okay.
Whenever you get diagnosed with one illness, that illness is a cut off from your plan. You cannot get repaid or reclaim against the same illness. But yes, you can, if you get diagnosed with a second illness which is covered under the plan, then you can get some reduced benefit if you have that rider, second event rider. Sounds good? All right, now we're going to discuss the tax treatment of critical illness plan. देखिए, ये बहुत ही कॉमन सवाल लोग करेंगे और आपके लिए प्लस पॉइंट भी होता है और आप बता भी सकते हो. लोगों को आदत है टैक्स वापस कैसे बच सकता है, टैक्स को कैसे बचा सकते हैं. दैट्स कॉमन, इसमें उनका फॉल्ट नहीं है, बताना भी चाहिए उनको, हम भी बताते हैं. लेकिन इंश्योरेंस के जाए, आई एम गोना कम बैक, दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, आई एम गोना कम बैक टू यू इन इंग्लिश एज वेल. लेकिन क्या होता है ना कि आपके लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी, क्रिटिकल इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी, डिसेबिलिटी पॉलिसी, इनके जो आप प्रीमियम पे करते हो ना अपनी पॉकेट से, वो आप अपने ना टैक्स में एक्सपेंसेस के तौर पे नहीं दिखा सकते. ठीक है, उसको हम कहते हैं कि ये नॉन टैक्स डिडक्टेबल है. आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते अपने अकाउंटेंट को कहोगे भाई ये मैंने पे किया पूरे साल तो ये मेरे एक्सपेंस में डाल दो. यू कैन नॉट डू दिस. और दूसरी बात ये कि जब आप कोई चीज अपनी टैक्स में एक्सपेंस के तौर पे कटवा नहीं सकते ना, तो दैट मीन्स आप उस पर टैक्स तो नहीं कटवा रहे. तो जब बेनिफिट आपको मिलते हैं ना, वो हमेशा टैक्स फ्री होते हैं. ठीक है, जैसे मान लो कि मुझे $50,000 का पे आउट मिल गया फ्रॉम माई क्रिटिकल इलनेस पॉलिसी, तो वो टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा, वो क्या होगा, टैक्स फ्री होगा, क्योंकि मैंने कोई टैक्स नहीं कटवाया था उस टाइम पे उस प्लान को एवरी ईयर पे करते हुए. समझ रहे हैं, इसको टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट कहते हैं. और ये ट्रीटमेंट जब आप ग्रुप प्लान में आते हैं ना, तो ये ट्रीटमेंट चेंज हो जाती है गाइस. ग्रुप प्लान में जो कंपनी की तरफ से प्लान इशू होते हैं, उसमें समटाइम्स एम्प्लॉय कुछ भी कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं कर रहे होते हैं. तो उसमें हमने डिसेबिलिटी में और पहले भी पढ़ा था एथिक्स में भी, उसमें क्या होता है कि अगर एम्प्लॉयर कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है तो फिर हमें जो बेनिफिट मिलते हैं वो क्या हो जाते हैं, टैक्सेबल हो जाते हैं. राइट, टैक्सेबल हो जाते हैं. तो अगर एम्प्लॉयर कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है, हम अपनी पॉकेट से नहीं डाल रहे, तो फिर डेफिनेटली हमने तो कुछ पैसा डाला ही नहीं जेब से, तो जो बेनिफिट आएंगे उस पर टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा. ठीक हो गया. सो ये इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, दैट वी नीड टू नो हाउ टैक्सेशन वर्क. Right. So Jaya, I was telling them the tax treatment of critical illness, individual critical illness plan. So let's say, Jaya, you are paying for your premium from your pocket. You cannot show this to your accountant as a tax deductible expense at the end of the year. Okay. But what is the benefit you will get? Let's say now you get a claim paid out to you. The money that you will get from the claim is also tax free because you never claimed that as tax deductible in those years. Right? So this is known as tax treatment. On the other hand, if you're part of a group plan of a critical illness, which is given to you or offered to you from your employer, now in that, if you are not paying any premium from your pocket, your employer is paying that. In that circumstance, the benefit that you will receive from your claim will be taxable because you did not contribute anything from your pocket. But by the way, who is going to show that as an expense? The employer. Employer, when filing tax, will show that money as an expense towards employees. That is why the benefit you receive become taxable. Sounds good? So this is the tax treatment of a critical illness plan. Now the next one I'm going to come, we are focusing our attention now to a long-term care. Critical illness is done. Anybody has any question about critical illness? Clear? Okay. So the next thing is the second insurance that is important to protect asset is long-term care. And this is only now people are now started to get more awareness about long-term care, right? I will tell you the reason why is so. I will build up a little bit story why long-term care is now coming into picture and was never the case before. So guys, who knows who baby boomers are? Jai, can you explain what baby boomers are to everybody?
I'm not quite sure of the age range myself, but I know my dad is one, so it's just that that around that time those people were having a lot of kids once they grew up.
Okay, so let me explain it to you. Baby boomers, you will listen to this terminology from different people and you need to understand. After Second World War, the world's population reduced big time. After Second World War in 1940, when it stopped 1941. After that, population went down. So the whole world wanted to raise more kids at that time so that population can go back up. So people who got born between that 1946 till 1964 time, they are called baby boomers, right? So because they were trying to boom new babies at that time after the Second World War. Now, if somebody is a baby boomer, that means right now in year 2023, they might be between the range of 59 years of age and 77 years of age. So those are the people we called baby boomers. Now, why I'm telling you long-term care is becoming more important now, because a lot of baby boomers are now approaching retirement. So if you see our Canada's population in this one, what is happening right now, कि जो लोग काम करने वाले हैं ना वो 65 तक जॉब करते हैं. आफ्टर 65 लोग जॉब नहीं करते तो कनाडा में वर्किंग पॉपुलेशन की तादाद में कमी होने वाली है. Right, that's one scenario. And second scenario is when people are retiring and also health is improving in Canada. You know, measures has been taken. Now average age is increasing. So that means longevity risk. Remember, we understand that in ethics, there's a longevity risk now with baby boomers. They need to have more money to survive. Both of these things are causing a problem of long-term care. Because now if they're surviving for long run, and now if they become dependent in that time, they need to utilize the long-term care clinic or assisted nursing or home nursing. That is why you never seen long-term care insurance so often before, but now you are seeing that coming into play because baby boomers are approaching retirement. So they might need to now avail those services. Anybody has any question? Kiran, clear here? Kiran, all good? Okay. All right. So after that, let's discuss in long-term care. So long-term care options. Now I want to tell you guys what are the long-term care options. So number one options, long-term care is available in public and private facilities both. Of course, if it's available in a public facility, then government is funding that. So it must be cheaper. If it is available in in a private setting, then of course it will be expensive, right? What kind of long-term care options are available? The most common private or public services available are home care, respite care, assisted living, and nursing care. These are the four types. Of course, the severeness increases as you go down the line, right? First one is home care. What is a home care? In this scenario, the person is not very dependent, but yes, time to time they need some kind of home care. So that is a policy, or that is a type of option which is available, that you can tell people that they can get a home care option. This is the cheapest form. In this, what happens, that most likely somebody comes to your house, or maybe a family member from your family, they comes in and they try to give you the home care. But of course nobody will do it for free. So if you have this kind of policy, the policy will pay the money to that care provider. Sounds good? This is a home care. care provided at home is the first step in the process of long-term care. This is less severe form that you want somebody to time and time again come and give you some kind of relief. Okay, so that is a home care. This can be somebody from your family as well, and they don't have to be doctor, nurses. They can be informal caregiver, because patient is not struggling with some kind of disease here. They just want some assistance of living assistance. So there can be informal care provider, and then they can be part of your family or extended family. Okay, so this is home care. Home care is provided as nursing, daytime companionship. Maybe they need companionship, maybe overnight stays with them, maybe helping people with their meals, housekeeping stuff, maybe personal care like bathing, other activities of daily living. This is home care. Second is respite care. Respite care is a little bit more severe than home care. Now, respite care means that somebody needs to look at a person or senior full time. Now that is a respite care. Now somebody needs attention full time. You cannot leave them alone. But yes, they are not medically unfit. They don't need to go to nurses, but they will be at home, but they want somebody supervising them 24. Now that service provider can also be somebody in your family. जैसे हमारी बहुएं होती हैं, वो अपने सास वगैरह को provide करती हैं इस तरह की care. So this can be anybody a part of our family too. But उसमें क्या होता है ना, it becomes a full-time duty now. So sometimes that person providing the care also need a relief for a few days, 14 days. So you can show people, hey, you can have a respite care option available to you. Let's say if something happened to you and maybe your son is taking care of you. Of course, after a couple of months, your son will be frustrated as well. He wants to go out, maybe do something. So for fortnightly, 15 days, 20 days, you can get some assisted person coming to your place, or you can go to some facility for 10-15 days, while at that time the care providing person can take some relief time off. So that is giving them the respite, and you can go for 15 days, 10 days to some other place. That is known as respite care option. Kiran, क्या clear है ये? Confusion तो नहीं है?
असल एक चीज ये है कि जो लेक्चर सुन रहे थे तो उसमें उन्होंने ये कहा था कि इट कुड बी इवन फॉर लाइक कपल ऑफ आवर्स भी हो सकते हैं. जैसे फर्स्ट करें कि फैमिली मेंबर्स कहीं गए हुए हैं एंड इट्स जस्ट लाइक 2-3 आवर्स, तो उसके लिए भी कोई बंदा जैसे आ सकता है जस्ट टू कवर दैट टाइम. बट हाँ ये चीज भी है कि जैसे मतलब पार्ट टाइम है समझे,
Yes,
few hours
absolutely.
part time only.
बट होम केयर में किरण, वो होम केयर में आएगा. लेट्स अगर आप किसी को थोड़े टाइम के लिए 2-4 घंटों के लिए लाना चाहते हैं, आ सकता है. रिस्पाइट केयर में क्या है कि फुल टाइम किसी को असिस्टेंस की जरूरत है, बट यस यू कैन टेक्निकली कॉल दैट इन रिस्पाइट केयर. दोनों में ही आ सकते हैं. बट नॉर्मली रिस्पाइट केयर क्या होती है कि आपको किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन में आप भेज देते हैं उनको 10-15-20 दिनों के लिए, ताकि वो
अच्छा नहीं, क्योंकि वो जो
फैमिली ना
लेक्चर
थोड़ा रिलैक्स कर सके.
अच्छा जो लेक्चर वो वेल्थ बिल्डर पे मैं सुन रही थी तो उसमें उन्होंने कहा था होम केयर इज जिसमें फुल टाइम लाइक केयर गिवर कमिंग टू द हाउस, राइट? एंड रिस्पाइट केयर में कहा था दैट लाइक योर फैमिली मेंबर्स आर देयर बट समटाइम्स दे नीड टू गो, सो सम पर्सन विल कम लाइक फॉर अ कपल ऑफ आवर्स लाइक पार्ट टाइम, इस तरह का था. बट मैं चाहे इसको करेक्ट कर लेती हूँ मैं.
Just do not follow what I'm saying, because I'm telling you what book says, right?
Okay.
So in book says respite care means that you for couple of hours तो आप पे तो नहीं करना होगा ना. 2 घंटे के लिए बुला के किसको पे करना होता है यार? 2 घंटे तो कोई वैसे भी आगे कर जाता है, आपके बिहाफ पे देख लेता है. रिस्पाइट केयर इज एन ऑप्शन वेयर यू सेंड योर एल्डरली पीपल टू सम फैसिलिटी फॉर 10-15 दिनों के लिए, ताकि वो फैमिली वाले लोग थोड़ा रिलैक्स कर सके, पाकिस्तान चले जाएं, कहीं घूमने चले जाएं, कहीं वापस आ जाएं. दैट्स नोन एज रिस्पाइट केयर. फॉर 2 आवर्स तो कौन चार्ज करेगा? आप किसी को भी नेबर को बुला के कह दो यार 2 घंटे जरा देख लो, मैं वापस आ रहा हूँ. So that is not something. So the respite care is when you arrange some place where your people can go, or your people can come in, and so that the family or care providers can relax for fortnight, for 1 week, for 10 days, for some time. That is respite care. Okay. Now the next is assisted living. In assisted living, now you just not only need to supervise. In respite care, you need to supervise the person, but in assisted living, now you have to help the person with some kind of assistance as well. So in this one, it's not necessarily that you need to provide them nursing option. Maybe they need nursing time to time, but mostly they want somebody at home who can assist them, help them, hold their hand, help them with washroom, with toilets, help them do certain things. Assisted, not medical needs are not there, but they need some assistance about everything. That is known as assisted living. In this one, you might have to hire somebody on part-time basis. They will come on regular hours at your place and they will assist the elderly patient or somebody in the daily routine activities. That is known as assisted living. Yes, Mehreen, you have a question.
असद ये इसमें PSW वाले वगैरह जो हैं ये असिस्टेड लिविंग वाले में ही आएंगे?
Yes, PSW वाले जो हैं assisted living में आते हैं. They can also come into the nursing home care if they are qualified, but mostly they can provide assisted living. Yes, they are the one.
Okay.
उनकी
So
job का हिस्सा होता है.
okay, so इस इंश्योरेंस के थ्रू हम PSW को भी हायर कर सकते हैं?
Yes, you can. Your insurance will pay them their hourly
Okay.
charges or whatever they are. So it says part-time nursing support may also be available in assisted living with to help with the daily activities such as all those things. Now the fourth one is nursing home care. This is the worst. Now in this one, the elderly patient, the senior, not only needs assistance with the daily work but also needs supervision by a doctor or a nurse or some staff 24/7. Now you need to transfer that elderly or senior to a nursing care facility. This is the most expensive form of care. Now in this one, you have to transfer them. So now, as name suggests, this goes on to range. It could be monthly, $2,000, depending on what kind of support they need. It could be if they can share a bed in that facility or they want their own private room. This can go up to right up to $8,000 a month in Ontario as well. How much? $8,000 a month as well in Ontario. So this is nursing home care facility. Guys, any question about this? You're clear about this? Who are the people who needs to be transferred? Who needs a supervision by a healthcare provider or nurse now 24/7? They need to be moved on to the nursing care facility. So after this, I will tell you the cost of long-term care. Simple as that. Which long-term care will be more costly? Home care will be least expensive. Respite care will be a little bit more expensive than home care. Assisted living will be a little bit more expensive. And then nursing home is, of course, the most expensive one, right? So I will tell you a little bit of the ranges. In Ontario, private nursing care facilities start from at least $1,200 as basic, and it goes to $6,000 in private, where you are going to share maybe the room with somebody, going up to 6,000. But if you want one bedroom suite in a nursing care in Ontario, it starts from $1,800 a month and goes to $8,000. Now, how many people as a senior are going to make $8,000 a month? But how many baby boomers are now longevity risk? Remember longevity risk. So these are the things we need to protect. Otherwise, if they found themselves, they need to go to the nursing care. What they have to do? They have to sell their homes, take money out of that. So that's why people start depleting their assets. That's why this long-term care and critical illness insurance is called essentially insurance to protect your assets. Sounds good? Making sense? All right. So after this, let's go further on. Now, next we're going to discuss about individual long-term care insurance plan. So individual means somebody is funding from their own pocket. Group means you're getting as group benefit from employer. Sounds good? Individual and group. So in individual long-term care plan, you can get a standalone policy. Standalone policy means just only long-term care. Or you can get a bundle up that you can mix your long-term care with your critical illness, or mix your long-term care with your life insurance, or mix your long-term care bundle up with your disability, or you can get a standalone. But in long-term care, most common option is standalone policy. That's most common. People bundling up cause a little bit of a confusion. That's why most common is keeping it separate plan. All right. Another thing that you need to know, there are two more type of things that terms you need to understand. Some long-term care policies based on reimbursement base. You know what is reimbursement base? Let's say you have to pay from your pocket right now, but you will get the bill. Now you show the bill to the insurance company, they will transfer the money into your account. That is known as reimbursement. So some LTC long-term care policies are based on reimbursement. Some are based on indemnity. Indemnity is a word that you don't have to pay anything from your pocket. Simply, the care provider will contact the insurance company and the insurance company will directly pay to the care provider. You are not involved. Nothing is getting paid from your pocket. But for indemnity, the care provider's clinic or their things have to be registered with the insurance company or have to be available online, and they qualify them. The insurance company qualify the healthcare provider or the facility as one of their go-to. Only then you can go for indemnity option. But if you want to go on reimbursement, then whole Canada is available to you. You can get the services wherever you want as long as you can pay from your pocket. But if you want to go with indemnity, maybe now not all the facilities are able to help you with this. So make sure once you go, you guide your patients that they can ask the healthcare provider or facility whether they are listed or registered with this insurance company to get the indemnity benefit. Sounds good? These are the two type of payments: reimbursement and indemnity. Okay, now they're saying who needs long-term care clinic insurance? As lifespan is lengthening and government financial resources becoming even more squeezed, it is suggested that all Canadians need to acquire long-term care insurance to be able to personally fund the need for care in their older years. For example, in year 2011, almost 5 million Canadians were over 65 years of age, and 7% of them are already using long-term care. They needed long-term care. And now it is expected that 30% of the individuals over 85 who are alive, 30% of them or more are in a long-term care facility right now. That is what number, and baby boomers are now approaching the retirement and all those things. So this could come into play. That's why it needs to be there for the people. All right, guys. So the next one I'm going to cover is we're still into long-term care. I'm just seeing whether I need to tell you something more important. Okay, so now long-term care policy also pays out based on the activities of daily living. They call it ADLs, right? ADL means activities of daily living. So there are 6 different activities mentioned that if some patient is not able to perform 2 or more of those 6, they are qualified as, now they can get the long-term care done. Sounds good? How many activities are listed? Write it down. Number 1, if somebody needs help in dressing, they cannot even dress themselves up. That's first activity. Somebody needs help with bathing, they cannot wash themselves. Somebody needs toileting help. Somebody needs transferring, that they cannot walk from one place to another. Somebody has to walk them. Eating, somebody cannot eat by themselves. Maintaining continence. Continence means maintaining your balance. Control, right? And also control of your urination, bladder, and your bowel, like your everything that you need to, your urge to go to toilet for a urination or for anything. If these are the 6 things, if 2 or more somebody is not able to do, then they get eligible and qualified for the benefits. So this is known as activities of daily livings, ADL. Important. Okay. All right. Okay, there's an example that I want to read to you. So in long-term care plan, they also say that you are normally provided with a daily maximum limit. That if somebody is coming to your house or they're going, they're only allowed a daily maximum, that this is the maximum amount that the company is giving per day. And they also give you maximum number of days covered. So daily maximum and maximum number of days covered. So let's say if somebody is getting $200 maximum daily and they are covered for 365 days, the maximum they can take advantage is, you multiply these two together, $73,000 worth of benefit they can withdraw out of that. So let's know this example. Grigory has a long-term care insurance policy with a rider that offers him up to 1 year, 365 days of home care coverage at a maximum of $200 a day. His overall maximum benefit for home care would be $73,000. If some of his care days required less than 200 benefit, then the remaining balance from that 200 will be used to extend his days from 365 to more days beyond. ओके सो मान ले कि अगर $200 मैक्सिमम मैं किसी को पे कर सकता हूँ, मगर कुछ दिनों में मुझे $200 नहीं पे करने, मेरा काम 100 में ही हो रहा है, तो जो 100 बच गया है ना, उससे मेरे 365 डेज से मैं 366 डे में जा सकता हूँ, 67th डे में जा सकता हूँ, आई कैन कैरी फॉरवर्ड। लेकिन उसके लिए मुझे एक राइडर ऐड करना पड़ेगा जो मुझे ये अलाउ करेगा, right? So you can carry forward if you're not hitting your daily maximum. The remaining amount from your daily maximum, let's say in this example is $200 a month, you can utilize that money towards, you know, increasing your coverage from 365 to more days, unless that whole $73,000 benefit is paid out. Sounds good? Anybody has any question? Okay. And also one more thing that they say, that cognitive ability is also a test applied to determine whether somebody is eligible or not. In cognitive ability is mental ability. Like sometimes people get into Alzheimer's disease. They start forgetting things. Now they're mentally incapable. So this also makes them eligible for long-term care benefits. Okay. Because now this is cognitive impairment. They cannot think or do things right. There are some riders, important riders available for long-term care as well. So write down these two riders. Number one rider is Cola Rider. Who can tell me? We have read this Cola Rider before. Kiran, can you tell me a little bit about Cola Rider?
It's yes, Asad, it's cost of inflation.
Yes, very
Cost
true,
of
very true.
inflation. Yeah.
Fantastic, Kiran. That makes me believe that you're retaining the concepts. So Cola Rider is very important in long-term care. Remember, long-term care you need to pay maybe many years from now. So at that time, maybe inflation is very high. Let's say if right now your policy is telling you that you're eligible for $200 maximum benefit, maybe at that time 200 is nothing. Nobody is able to come and provide you anything for $200. So you want your policy to be inflation adjusted. If you want that, then you want to add a rider which is COLA, cost of living adjustment, so that you don't have to worry about that at that time, whatever inflation is, every year your policy is adjusted to adjust the inflation. We have covered that topic before in other lectures as well. But yes, this is one of the important rider with long-term care, COLA rider. Second is return of premium, refund of premium. If somebody approaches age 65, 75 and they don't feel like they're all okay, they don't need to keep this policy anymore, they can cancel it and they can get the return of premium, whatever they've contributed, and they can use it as their retirement source of income, or use the funds to fund their retirement. If somebody is healthy, they don't want to continue with long-term care, once they reach their 65, 75 or whatever they feel like, now they don't want to have it, they can cancel it. If they cancel it, if they have the rider return of premium, refund of premium, they will get the money they paid into premium back and they can use it in their retirement. Sounds good? All right. So I think that's pretty much all about. Who can tell me? Let's say, Saad, I'm going to ask you. I have an individual long-term care plan, right? Individual long-term care policy. And now I got benefit. I'm reimbursing. So let's say I'm now 67-year-old. I utilize some benefit and I show the bills to the insurance company. They paid me some reimbursement for long-term care. Would that be taxable income for me or non-taxable?
Non-taxable, because this is an individual plan. The individual plan is non-taxable.
Yeah, let's give it up for Saad. Very, very good. Basic concept, right? So if this is a employer base, then it has to be taxable income. Sound good? As I said, you can also mix and merge long-term care with other type of accidental sickness insurance. Like you can make a bundle of critical illness in long-term care, or you can make a bundle of disability in long-term care. But I told you, long-term care is a little bit complicated plan, so it's always better to keep it standalone plan. but you, if you wish, you can make bundles or combo plans as well. All right. So I want to tell you, I want to show you a little bit of a chart before we close off this chapter, and that should be done. Let me share my screen and let me show you this chart. Are you guys able to see this? Table 3.2. This is characteristics of disability insurance, critical illness insurance, and long-term care. So they are just trying to do a comparison between these three. So look at the characteristic number 1, event triggering the benefit. कौन सा event है जो benefit को trigger करता है? In a disability insurance, if you have a disability insurance plan, then inability to work due to injury or illness will trigger the plan, the benefit. If you have a critical illness plan, then any of the underlying illness, and if you got diagnosed with those illness, then it triggers the benefit. If you have a long-term care, then inability to care for oneself from those 6 ADL I told you, 6 active daily list. If 2 or more, then it trigger the benefit. Sound good? That's a clear difference between all these three. Determination of benefit. What will determine the benefit? So in disability, percentage of income loss is very important to determine whether you're eligible. Your paychecks are not coming to you. In critical illness, it's always determined by contract face value. In long-term care, it will be determined by the expenses incurred in that long-term care, or somebody is asking you home care, whatever they're charging, that will be on that. Payments of benefit. In disability, you normally get monthly benefit because it's replacement of income. Disability is an insurance to protect your income. Disability is an insurance to protect your income. So that pays you monthly benefit. Critical illness and long-term care is an insurance to protect your assets. So critical illness is a lump sum payment, or you can make it also periodic payment as well. But long-term care always as expenses incurred. So whenever you have an expense, you show it to the company, they will reimburse it or re-incur it. Sounds good. So this is a table that differentiates it, and that brings us to the conclusion of chapter number 3. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly take a 5-6 minute break right now. And then what we can do, we can get back and we can start going into the chapter number 4. All right. While I decode this whole chapter. All right, guys. Have a wonderful time. Let me just conclude this chapter. And I'll be back with you with chapter number 4.
ये recording को भी stop कर दीजिएगा.
Oh, yes.